let's talk a little bit about, you know, there's a lot of conversation as well about hips, of course. You know, should we, how high should we have our hips? Do we bring our hips up to the handle? Do we push the handle down? Do we, you know, and then there are, of course, you know, more newer ideas about this in terms of swinging the hips almost. You know, I don't know what the right word is for you to use, but you kind of have some of your own ideas about hip placement, you know, initiating the turn, but also through the wakes. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, one of the buzzwords you hear is center of mass, and I probably more commonly talk about it as hips.
Okay.
Because I didn't grow up understanding center of mass. I learned that later in life.
Sure.
Really kind of thanks to Jamie O'Shane, but and some snow ski books that he gave me and things like that. But I understood in theory how you move. I just didn't give it that name. The real idea is that truly your center of mass, which we all kind of recognize as hips, core, abs, right in that area. When they move, when that moves off the ski, it creates pressure on the edge of the ski. Then the ski does what it's designed to do, which is carve and turn. You always need that part of your body moving with you. So your main goal is not to get your hips up. It's to move from the hips. Let your hips kind of fall off the edge of the ski, but ensure that they stay with you and stay with your feet through the wakes, through every aspect of the slalom course. You can use them to generate power by letting them lead your feet slightly. But when I say lead your feet, I don't mean that up position. I've seen kids who learn from a parent, and I do a clinic, and they come out and, oh, we've been working with her. She just started last summer, and they're standing in that upright position with their hips so far forward that they can't move athletically. So hips up was originally the right concept, but people took it to mean this. And in reality, it just means prevent them from dragging. Keep them over your feet so you're in a balanced athletic stance, which is, you know, super important. If it ever throws your balance off, it's negative. Obviously, you don't want to be dependent on the rope. You want to be able to ride the ski efficiently with a quiet connection to the rope. And the quiet connection is, you said, should I push my hands down? Should I bring my hips up? The handle should be pulling you from your center of your body, because that's more efficient. And your hips should be connected somewhere to your elbows or in that general area, somewhat connected.
Right.
So that you can maintain a strong position.
Right.
Is that?
Yeah. No, I think that helps a lot. I think there's some frustration maybe experienced by some of our members in the sense that, you know, we, just like me this week, I'll get out and I'll free ski and do just fine. And then once you start adding buoys, then things start to change, especially, and then it changes first and foremost at the hip level. And so, in terms of maybe, could you say it's not really possible to overemphasize that, but maybe
it can be. It can be, because you remember we said in the position where your hips are behind you, oftentimes you're a product of the previous step.
Right.
And I often see people through the turn shove their hips high before they've even initiated a turn, so the tip comes up.
Right.
So what are you doing? You're falling against the boat, loading the line, and then it pulls you out of position. So yes, overemphasizing it and having it poorly timed can cause as much problem as not doing it.
Right.
I would much rather see a beginning skier have a mild connection to their hips, but stay balanced over their feet through the turns and through the wakes, than actually fight to make that connection to the point that they fall back and pull on the rope, and then it pulls them out of position. So, you know, that's part of it. The other thing is rhythm, and I think rhythm gets overlooked with, we all focus on mechanics. How often do you see on a message board, you know, where do I edge change?
Right.
Improper edge change, timing of it, is probably the most common problem in water skiing.
Right.
Oftentimes it's a result of some other issue, but it's often, you know, a big creator of other problems. So if you learn the rhythm through free skiing, and like the rhythm drill that you did since last year that I've got on my website, just learning to move efficiently, and right as you hit the center line, begin to make some sort of transition to cast the ski out to the other side, so that again your hips, or center of mass basically, can fall off the ski and create a turn, as opposed to, there's a buoy, let me get there. Then I'll figure out what I'm going to do next, and that becomes the big turn with the hips up that loads the rope and pulls you out of position.
Right.
So rhythm can cause as many biomechanical problems as just not knowing how to stand on the ski can.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah, it does. Well, and I've experienced that this week.
Yeah, yeah.